I met Diana about 12 years ago when we were both working for a brand in London. I actually knew about her before I spoke with her because she was very senior and very skilled designer she was doing everything in that business at the time. From the logo to the embroidery design to the fabrics to everything, but she was also coordinating a lot of things. So I remember when she first got in touch with me, I actually have like a strong memory of it, and being kind of nervous or in awe of her because she was this very, everybody respected her a lot, and she also always had like a way that she made herself respected, right? And so I remember first like chatting with her on WhatsApp and her being just very sweet, and she was not how I imagined because she was very, very strong, but she was also just really fun and kind in a way. It came through even in WhatsApp messages, because that's how we first ever communicated. And what happened was, it was just like a relationship for me that was very, in so many levels, it was a very important relationship because it was, professional, and then it went to another level of professional because we both left that company. I left first and I started to set up my own business, and Diana was such a huge part of that business, like to help me she kind of taught me and made me believe in myself more, and I also was kind of just inspired by how she was, like how she looked at life, how she was kind of, it was like stylish, but she had just kind of taste, right? So yeah, basically that was, she, when we both left that company, obviously she helped me a lot because she kind of helped me to find a strength in that position. We weren't getting, it wasn't a good job for me, and she helped me we talked a lot, like we really became friends even before we met. And then we met for the first time in that store, and from there it was like it was a really beautiful friendship that was, now just thinking over the years that we were friends, it just, even though we never lived in the same country or the same town, she always stayed in contact with me, and we always helped each other, but she always, she did everything she could to help me with everything, the things that we could do to help each other. But she made my logo, she made the logo for the business that I still, she did all of the artwork for the website that I was building, and I didn't, it was really so important, everything. But we also like supported each other, and we would have long video calls, even just normal calls, and there was always things to talk about with her. We would always, sometimes we would just be gossiping. We would always find something to gossip about, and she was always what made me laugh. She just made me laugh, everything. And I just have this, these memories like come to mind of, going to visit her in London, and staying at her little apartment, and she insisted that she would give me and my partner her bed, and that she would stay on the sofa. And said no, and she insisted. It was just who she was. She was just like this kindness, her heart was, it was like this mad mix of really kind, sincere heart, but also very strong. So this whole how she was respected like that. And I just remember, I just have this memory of like always walking around with her because we were the same height, and so it was so lovely to walk around and just link arms, and it just felt like one of these friendships, as if we were little girls together, because we would just laugh and tell stories, and it never felt like we'd been out of touch for a long time when we when we spoke, it was always just like we'd spoken a day before or something. So yeah, I can remember, you know, there's a lot of memories of phone calls with her because that was often how we would stay in touch. But and I remember just sitting on a bench in a park laughing. And I remember also, you know, her always being so happy for you. You know, I remember when I got pregnant and she was so happy, and then meeting my firstborn and just that we're having the loveliest times when we'd go to visit her and we'd wander around, you know, Camden Market, and we'd choose clothes, and she would kind of, you know, she had such style that it was always everything that I ever picked out when it was with her. It was like, that's something that I still treasure until now. You know, one of the jackets we bought in Camden Market, and we'd talk about clothes, which was, you know, she just had she had an eye for details. But yeah, I just remember laughing a lot with Diana, being inspired by how she was, and just having like a very pure feeling of love, you know, from her always. You know, she really was special. And you know, for me, it's like she didn't just touch me, you know, touch my life as a friend. You know, we would laugh and have such lovely times together, but she also, you know, helped me so much in my career. You know, she helped me emotionally. She's very, very much missed in every way. Yeah.
Io sono Diana, non il mio cancro.